Now in programming, it's pretty common to write functions so that you can define code that can be reused in different parts of your application, and also so that you can keep certain parts of your application lean by outsourcing code into functions. And GitHub Copilot really shines when it comes to writing functions. Because of course, when creating a function, you're giving that function a name, and that name then allows GitHub Copilot to suggest which code should go into this function. For example here, I want to write a function that should generate a random integer number starting at 0 up to a certain maximum number, which I can define when calling that function, which I then want to use to draw a random item from that React descriptions array. And therefore, I'll name that function here genRandomInt. And I already get a suggestion here that even already includes such a max parameter. Though if that would not be included, I could of course add it myself to give GitHub Copilot more hints about what I'm trying to achieve. And then in the end here, after typing some extra characters, I'm getting a suggestion for the complete function body and for the complete remaining code of that function, which I might want to implement to achieve my goal. Now you can, by the way, also hover over these suggestions and then accept the suggestion or just parts of the exception with that context menu that opens up here. And you also get some additional options here. But here I'm happy with the entire suggestion, and therefore I'll just accept it like this. And now with that function added, if I go back here to this header component, I can use this function to generate a random index which I want to use to access a random word in this array. And here it might be enough to just write const to get GitHub Copilot to suggest some code that indeed does allow me to generate such a random index. If I would have not gotten this suggestion here, I could of course simply have typed random index, and chances are high that I would have then gotten that suggestion. And with that, of course, I can now use this random index down here, again by using GitHub Copilot. And of course, you're still allowed to write code on your own when using GitHub Copilot, but as you see here, it's not uncommon for you to just write some code and to just give GitHub Copilot some hints about what you're trying to achieve, and you then start accepting those suggestions, hence boosting your productivity as a developer. And with all that done, if I now move this random word and the rest of the sentence into the same line, and I save this all, if I reload here, you'll see that this first word here changes randomly every time I reload. And it sometimes might be the same word, multiple reload cycles after each other, and then it might be a different word.